Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you so much for coming out to the Gallery Cabaret right here. To the Gallery Gallery. I got a ring from my sister for my birthday that just passed because of a cancer, and it's this big crab on my fingers, and I keep scraping it again because I'm a Cancer, one or the other. But I was like, I'm gonna have to wear it in June. I've got my little crab. That would also be me, a crab. There are a lot of things that have been going on, and I was thinking of wearing the NSA shirt that John happened to have because there's all this PRISM stuff going on. But I heard, did anybody watch any stuff about the George Zimmerman trials? It just started this week. You know, he was the guy that, it's not self-defense or stand your ground defense, where he shot Trayvon Martin in Florida. And the trial has just started this week, and I just heard, and I heard it talked about on talk shows, that the defense lawyer started. And he said, I really feel like there should probably be some levity. So I, Trayvon Martin's lawyer, I'm going to start with a joke. Now don't blame Zimmerman for this. This is my joke, but are you ready? Knock, knock.
Who's that there?
George Zimmerman.
George Zimmerman. Who kind of gun is he having?
Okay, you can be on the jury. And he says this to all the jury, and they all look at him, and he's like, what? That's funny. And I thought that was completely hysterical, and I just thought I'd share that very strange joke with you. And now I also have to share sports stuff. I know how you guys probably were all screaming your heads off Monday night for the hockey winning, yay! But I have to, yay! Whoa, Stanley Cup. No, that is awesome cool. And I was screaming, my throat was sore the next day. But it was, you scream like an idiot. But for anybody who doesn't, well, probably doesn't care about tennis, I noticed today in the Wimbledon as was going on, every single person that got in the top 10 that played in the second round lost. Like Maria Sharapova, who's number 3, Federer lost, Nadal lost yesterday. Like all of these people have been losing. I'm like, everybody is going to be gone. I can't believe it. I mean, just, you expect like, oh, they're going to win. They're going to get to the quarterfinals or semifinals or something. They're all just out. I'm like, what? Couldn't believe it. Sorry. Why am I talking sports stuff with you? I'm sorry.
It's fine.
And, well, but I got the hockey stuff out first as briefly as I said it, and I did wear a red shirt. And John brought a hat. And so he's like, here, put it on. And with my little crab ring. Because it was red, it has red stones in it. I don't know. Anyway, I wanted to start because this evening, because we've been running extra bonus weeks, and this is a bonus week, and it is after horrendous storms and floods everywhere, but after this week, we actually have 2 weeks off. Bless you. We actually have 2 weeks off. The 3rd and the 10th of July are off, and then on the next one, all the way over to July 17th, we happen to have my handy-dandy, lovable, sexy sidekick, Bob Rashta, as a feature. Oh, yeah. And we have a bonus week after that, and that happens to be myself with Buddha 309. For anybody who missed it from before, we did a feature in May at Poetry Love Letters called Science versus Mysticism, where I read periodic table poems and he didn't. And so we thought we'd do a reincarnation of that with different pieces, which means I'm going to have to come up with new periodic table poems. But I thought that would be my impetus of reading 2 poems from past features to share with you guys.
You think you're right.
What?
You think you're right.
Oh, I'm always right, but it's nice to have that that affirmation. Thank you. Sorry. These 2 are pieces, I believe, that I read at the Poetry Bomb, which means that you probably didn't hear it unless you saw the video. I'm going to start with this longer one for Hydrogen. This is From Hydrogen to Nothing. Love is like tap water, free flowing. And remember when you were little, just put your glass under a faucet, quench your thirst. Wait a minute, it's not like that. Water isn't free. You even have to pay for the water in your home, and it's not even clean. What you're getting is dirty, and you still have to pay for it. You know, they say us humans are like 70% water. And when I think of you, and all the time that we were together, well, if you're 70% water, I have to remember that it wasn't pure and clean with you. And if this was love, if this was you, it wasn't free. I'm still paying for it. I mean, they say we're mostly made of water, hydrogen, oxygen, but it's like you were an electron from hydrogen to me. Just one electron spinning around the center of me, always keeping an all too tight grip on me. I would think I was free, and there you would be, that one presence I could never get rid of. You were spinning, orbiting, spinning my head. You were keeping your distance, but still, you made sure you were always there, holding me back. If we're mostly made of water, and you spun around me like in that hydrogen atom, you kept me gasping for air. I needed that oxygen. I know water is hydrogen and oxygen. I know I've got it in me. I've just got to keep myself together after dealing with what you've done to me. When we're 70% water, by mass, we're only 11% hydrogen, but most of the mass in our body may be oxygen. But by an atomic percentage, we're 67% hydrogen, meaning most of the atoms in our bodies are hydrogen. Just one electron spinning around that nucleus, just spinning and never letting go. When I now think of you and the fact that you made me feel like nothing, well, when I think of what you're made of, I have to remember we're all made of atoms, protons and neutrons, infinitely small, wound tightly together in the nucleus, surrounded at a comparatively vast distance by occasional, tiny, orbiting electrons. So when I think of you, I have to remember that you're made of those atoms with really tiny cores. And that those atoms are filled with so much space that you're mostly made of nothing. When I think of you, I remind myself of this. When I think of the nothingness you made me feel and the fact that you should mean nothing to me, this is how I must think of you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I don't know if anybody else uses it, but I think it's the handiest thing. Somebody has this little column here, and if you ever want to bring your drink up, you've got a spot for your drink as well as yours. It's goofy, but here's another short one. Very short, but it worked with that piece. This is well, I didn't say that hydrogen is actually number 1, but this is number 35 in the periodic table, Br. This is bromine. You've stopped the fire in me. Oh, the zone you've created, leaving a stench in your wake. You wanted to stop my shaking. You wanted to sedate me. But I've learned better. You're just so unsafe that no one thinks you're good. You've been so corrosive to me, and I know I haven't seen you around, but I keep trying to tell you, you have no purpose for me. The only thing you may be good for is killing the vermin around me. But at this point in the game, I'd rather keep things living. So please, keep your distance. Your toxicity depresses me. And when you sneak into my drink, well, you cloud everything around you. Instead, you think you make things picture perfect. But trust me, that argument is not enough for me. So please, don't poison me. Please, don't burn me. Just let me get some fresh air again, and you can get away from me for good. Thank you. Guess it was a happy reason I had that glass there for you cloud everything around me with the drink. So ladies and gentlemen, I'll give it up for my first open mic this evening. Please give it up for John Free Stewart. John, go out there.
I'll read 3. The title of the first one is
What's the title of the first one?
Ice Skating on Tampa Bay. Practically everyone has been at bat. Girls might play touch, but the football widow is legend. Girls were bouncing balls before boys. But who plays hockey? The Blackhawks win what, like Indiana, they'll never get back. And masses move cops to suppress enthusiasm. Is hockey too in the DNA of imperialism? While Brazil revolts, Emmanuel closes schools to build a stadium. The number 19 bus only serves the north side. The imperialism that made Spartacus a Trotskyist keeps me anarchist. I may never understand my friend who left Marxism, as it seems it was, for the Blackhawks. Nobody plays hockey, but the Blackhawks win in 90-degree weather, dressed for a Canadian winter. Snowden seeks asylum to get away from the madness. And people go wild over an experience they will never have. This is one I wrote on back of an envelope to a guy in the county jail. He was one of the NATO 5, which is now down to the NATO 3. He's one of the 3. And it ends on his last name, but he won't see that because on the back of the envelope, I can only get it down to where it reads that the cherubim were cops, and the way it goes. The title is a question. Is the genesis of revolution in the destruction of heaven and hell in the pacific thought of the tax-refusing godless? As Israel deports refugees from strife and Obama escalates ensuring refugees from strife, where can they go to seek a life? But who, in the most imprisoning nation on earth, will recognize that Adam was jailed before there was any war? That the sword imprisoned before Cain killed Abel in a prison camp? That the cherubim were cops before there were soldiers? That authority creates misery, paradise denied, whether you choose democracy, autocracy, or some invisible theocracy as template for treacherous authorities. None of that is acracy, which should be our priority, as we all can do betterly. That's Brent Betterly, 2012-05190001. And this one I also wrote on the back of an envelope, not to people in jail, but in Baltimore. 3 women, one of them, Liz McAllister, while she was in jail for breaking the law for peace, almost got in trouble for planning to kidnap Henry Kissinger. Yeah, those Catholic radicals really know how to go at it.
Yeah, I was put in prison, so I was trying to kidnap Henry Kissinger. That just sounds cool, doesn't it? I mean, it wasn't that anything worse.
And so they will get it down to the line, to be a chosen person, and you get the rest. The title is Countervailing the Conspiracy Dynamic. The epigraph is from Sherman Skolnick, who was reported murdered by Mossad 7 years ago last month. Reports from anonymous source. New York City firemen, there were bombs in the building. Cyberspaceorbit.com. Crucial info evidence. Explosives toppled WTC. Obama hurls rice at his marriage of Zionism to the UN. And when the consequence of 120 cruise missiles into Libya, combined with CIA uncertainties, makes certain that a sprouting cannot be confirmed at the State Department, brings her closer to secure his plots against peace. That other Rice, a Meghan Nigerianized and puffed in the press as the senior of Transform Now Plowshares, hurls herself against the war machine at Oak Ridge, bannering and bloodying, hammering and tagging the largest stockpile of weapons grade anywhere, which, in its finished form, Obama keeps on hair trigger alert for whatever Armageddon. His Zionized Trinitarianism makes him eligible to be a chosen person for history, developed by Rothschild and Company since the 1770s. I know this Rice, Catholic in her universalism, and I know Obama, so thoroughly high-parked in Jewish chauvinism. And I know how Meghan understands that 9/11 is a hoax and a fraud, which makes Obama an idiot. But I don't know why her kin is so much in the closet and not out there to transform the conventional wisdom that hides the nukes, neo-con-nived, to false flag the Hollywood scenario of 11 September in the hard reign of Kissinger, who, as conspiracy maintains dynamic, may be surpassed by those who don't listen to him, and too little to 3 who breached the national insecurity.
Thank you. Come up with voices for these things that I do. First things first, before I talk about the publications I run with Scars Publications, I have to show you this precious little bag, who seems very sad because he's very empty right now, because you should put your life savings into this for our phenomenal feature for Dan Cleary this evening. probably wondering, why wasn't I getting a lot of applause at the beginning of the thing? I'm like, I was saving it for you, Mr. Man, I was. So I'm going to start this off, and I'm going to throw this over at John. Although I throw like hell, so that will suck. But
You throw like a girl.
I throw like a girl. Although Mythbusters apparently did a test, and girls throw much more accurately than men. Yes,
No.
but they have speed. Men have speed, and that's what. So yes, we just saw that. That whatever. But I don't pay attention to throwing to save my life when you've got a thing that's half empty. But put anything you can into it. I suppose you could put change into it, but you know, what are you gonna? You know, bills are usually better. I use about how I adore you and everything, or something. I don't know. So give him a lot, because after Michael took a little 5-minute break, we'll have a phenomenal feature. I've been so looking forward to it. He's got his ukulele, and one of our ladies up here is going to sing with them, and I'm so double plus excited. So, yeah, sorry, I can't get all gooey sounding. But Scars Publications is something that I run that runs 2 literary magazines, CC&D and Down in the Dirt magazine, and at the end of the year, we do a collection book of sorts, and we used to do calendars. And I said, instead of doing a calendar where you have like 1 poem in a month on a wall calendar or something, I thought I'd try to do date books, where you had like a week on it, and you would have poetry on the other side, so I could put a bunch of poems in this space. So I was going to read from people that had been previously accepted in either CC&D or Down in the Dirt magazine 2 poems. And then I'm going to call up somebody that's going to read something else, because he's double plus awesome. That's my new thing, double plus. This is a poem by Jennifer McCain, and it is called To the Girl in the Hallway Who Will Never Be the Same. The things were probably happening in slow motion for her, because I recognized that look in her eyes. She wasn't looking directly at me. Her eyes had a strange but unrelenting focus on him. Her life depended on it. I knew that look. Fear was a slow numbing that crept up to cover it. She was preparing herself for what would come next. The name calling, the manipulation, the bloodshot eyes that could only mean that he was blacking out. The slap, the closed-fisted punch. Oh, I knew that look. I knew it well. So why didn't I do anything? I walked past, stared. When she glanced my way, I put my head down and pretended not to see. She was cornered with no way out. Helpless, alone, scared. And I left her with the wolves. I know it's hard to do raucous applause for meaningful, deep poems like that, but I figured I'm going to pull out these women's ones, because I'm going to have a phenomenal sidekick coming up that's going to read stuff before he reads his own pieces. So this is another female piece. This is Emily Olive Petit, I believe. I have a
Since
clip
all
on
the
it.
readers are guys.
Well, I'm just happen to read 2 girl ones here, and this one is called Taste. Worship is not a word I like to taste. Sex is not a word I like to swallow. So what are these dreams? You are not an angel, and I am not your angel. So what do I taste? Is in my love, in my lust, in my tears, and in my hunger that is not worship and not sex? Who am I, and why am I burning? Thank you very much. Now I'm going to ask my wonderful sidekick, who happens, and we've got a 2-week break after this, but in July he's got a feature, so please give it up for Bob through himself, Mr. Bob Brasco. Oh, this one, that's not funny. And this was really
Is CEE a male or a female?
CEE is a male. He's like,
I wasn't sure if you knew or not.
yeah, I know. There is
All right.
initials.
This is by a poet who likes to call himself CEE. And it's called, I titled it Horace. I think of piles of cornrows, of Wehrmacht cannon and tanks, coal scuttles stomp marching, rolling out the blitzkrieg, having a barrel of fun. A goofy game piece on the move, wheels turning, underdog cartoon, zoop, 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 carpet wash over fields and humans, rolling, paintbrush broad, a tech process machine with dim machinations, like the way a Roomba cleans the floor. I wrote a story about a Roomba of gods which vacuums up humanity. If you believe in a god of hatred, I think that already happened. I'll read a couple of my own. This is called Bean Envy. Bean Envy. For the glory of gas, do I have to be round, clumpy, and fat? Just look at that scarlet runner over there, so slender and athletic. How she revels and stretches in her string bean grace. And Mira Ayi to that royal tea, posing proudly in all its purple pearly possession, practically predicting he'll soon be in holding position for some glutton-head silver spoon. Now they both stare at me, wallowing here in my immobility. Was that a gurgle of derision coming from Lady Scarlet? How dare she mock me? Oh, if I could only waddle my weary way over there, I'd show off my expanse. I'd give them a taste of my chewy, bulky texture. Then they'd surely get the message. This garden is tended for variety, and wax vegetables can wax poetic. At least as much as these old beans. Thank you. And this one I actually wrote at Vito Carli's art colony back a few months ago, so there's an indirect connection with our feature, Dan Cleary, tonight. Let's see. Sorry, I just gotta get to the right section. This is my currently renovated poems that I'm salvaging from a disaster that happened back in the winter. So I'm starting to transcribe them over again, whatever I can get to. All right, this is called Fetcher Wants an L. Okay. Whatever it is, use your imagination. I read the signs all my life. Green highway, yellow and black street. I'm reading them still. There's an auto repair sign across the street. The Queen of Diamonds reads her story poem in the vestibule of a warehouse near Elston and Belmont. Her magic words wash gently over me, drowning the chatter within in scents of lavender and jasmine. I breathe slowly in and out. I glance outside in my chair at the sign which heralds the shop. Something is missing in the address, not necessarily in this day and age. Any location is signposted easily on the information highway. It's a letter, postmarked but undelivered. Still, it doesn't matter. It fits the pattern. I see myself, trying to look relaxed, as the handsome young slammer half listens to the Diamond Queen and anticipates the rest of his Saturday night. A fetcher of ideas, names, signs, words. Paint me a pretty picture. I'll provide the caption. It could be a New Yorker cartoon or graffiti on the L. And Fletcher no longer misses the L. It's come to join me in my endless search for directions to that ideal, perfect word. Thank you.
I can get it. It's my date book.
Dun, dun, dun. I titled it Horace. So we're looking at under it. And that's for the week of June 30th. That's just, see, and I've got like upcoming weeks, I'm not going to be able to read them all. But if you want to know anything about publishing stuff in On the Dirt magazine or CCD magazine, this happens to be the 20-year anniversary issue. Dun, 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 dun. Sorry. It needed to make that noise for it. Let me know. You can always send submissions my way. That would be double plus awesome. Because as I said, double plus is my term for the day. Be double plus awesome.
It's Orwellian.
Pardon me?
It's Orwellian.
Isn't it though? So didn't you realize what kind of trap you were falling into by coming into this haven for your evening? Anyway, and this guy's yelling at me. Well, he happens to have a couple poems that are published in future issues of CC&D. So please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Jerry Vendergast. Jerry!
Hi.
Just the tallest person.
First, I'd like to return a courtesy. There's a venue that allows me to announce this series. It's called What's in Your Heart at the Kitchen Sink. Their next program is Sunday, July 7th. What's in Your Heart, 5 p.m., 1107 West Berwyn. It's about a half block east of the Berwyn Avenue L stop on the Red Line.
Which we love to go to, yay! And
Right. You're going to back me up when I try to sing. Well, you got it. I wanted, my printer didn't work, but I'm going to try to do this first poem from memory. May was Jazz Month, is always Jazz Month, and I don't think I read any jazz poems at any venues that I attended. Okay, it's called Nightclub Scene circa mid-50s. Some walked in from the train station. Some walked in from the neighborhood. Some walked in 10 steps from a limousine. Neighbor told neighbor across lawn, spades trump at this club. Alto sax cracks the first solo. Trumpeter comes in center stage, back turned, piano keys in. Drum and sax attacks the earwax. Chandeliers shine on jeweled hands at the slumming tonight table. The limousine pulls in outside. No subway ride for any hide at the slumming tonight table.
Really cool rhymes in there.
Yeah, I'll have a copy of that. I know I missed a word or two. Anyway, this is a gallery, and I do have a copy of this, so I'm not trying to read it totally from memory. It's called Gallery. Art. Shooting. Lasers on tiny pellets. Lead, metal, ink, or paint. Wood, stone, clay. Sculpted to look like a bullet-holed wall. The clay, a mix of colors. Is the red a hint of dried blood? A painting of a child in an arcade or carnival, squeezing the trigger, missing, hitting the enemy. Mixed media, a brick, perhaps stone structure, chiseled or hammered in fragments. Hint of shadows from paint or light projection from open curtain or the ceiling. Thoughts of a bomb building, perhaps. Are the shadows human? Ode to a Time magazine billboard in a subway. Time to emit gloss. The bottle of early times could be a fine wine, a high-rise condo building, or a tall needle and syringe. My eyes drop to a bottle peeking out of a paper bag at the edge of the tracks. I imagine eyes peeking out of a window on the Magnificent Mile. Could be naked, could be with binoculars. Magnin shoppers exiting the store, some hailing cabs, boarding buses, descending subway steps, large bags in hand. I imagine the eye, a finger, pushing a needle and thread through cloth at a lower hourly rate than the price of time.
If you would like to do another, feel free, my darling.
Okay, all right, I'll do this one. A thumb is called, in Pleasant Falls, a thumb snaps the camera, marries the images. Man, woman, picked from the bar at the Falls Inn, each waiting for a table in town for a conference from out of state. Wedding costumes from town's image bureau. Camera has captured smiles on cue. Checks waiting for bride, for groom. Chemical banks of the river a mile from the Falls Inn. Is anyone inspecting plants or industrial park built with a loan from Chemical Bank in New York? Timber from thinning forest. 5-year tax exemption, the dowry for jobs vowed. Printer multiplies bride and groom images for brochures, billboards. A couple of pages. Where's page 2? Sorry. Image of couple posed next to the Falls Inn, honeymoon suite. Could anyone imagine the groom impotent, the bride dry, Pleasant Falls children with mutated genes, or agents in the bloodstreams of any townspeople taking a decade or two from their lives?
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I won't say that was double flush awesome, even though it was.
Sorry.
The next person I'm going to call up, I could say it's really, really cool because I believe she's going to be singing with our feature this evening, which will be, I'll say double plus cool because that's my thing. But I also can't help but think, I always see her picture on a Facebook page, and she's got this most adorable goddamn photo. It's just like, hi, and I've got all this gorgeous hair curling around, and just looks so freaking cute that I'm really looking, now I've made her embarrassed. I'm really looking forward to hearing what she's going to say. Please give it up for Lynn West.
Shush, get out of here. Just because you're awesome, just own it.
Thank you. That makes me so nervous when I get an introduction like that. Just a minute. Let me call you sweetheart. I'm in love with you. Let me hear you whisper that you love me too. Keep the love light glowing in your eyes, so true. Let me call you sweetheart. I'm in love with a Jew.
I'm Lynn West.
Lynn.
I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Lynn.
Anyway, and now here's a serious poem, I think. I don't know, maybe not. The valley so low, in the land of broken dreams, I am queen. Sitting on my throne, my subjects appease me. I face my books, and they follow me. King Arthur and Lancelot both have their places, as simple joys remain simple forever, and Don Quixote rides his horse without fear. In the land of broken dreams, choose your own ending books or an order, as I flirt with possibility. In the land of broken dreams, the dolls in the valley come out of their glass cases and begin to dance. Their flat faces smile as they help me dance the broken dream. Now I lay me down to sleep, praying that my soul is, and if I die before I wake, still praying as the sirens gently sing their lullaby, and I am whisked away to the land of broken dreams. Thank you. So thirsty was I one day, I fell into the well, just out of my reach, that which could quench my thirst landed with a splash.
I'm going to sing one aria, if I may. Okay. You got to get the diaphragm going for an aria.
Yeah.
Composure.
Can I have my sweetheart, Danny? Oh, Danny boy. Please come up. You'll try.
Moon river, wider than a mile, I'm crossing you in style someday. Oh, dream maker, you heartbreaker, wherever you're going, I'm going your way. Two drifters off to see the world. There's such a lot of world to see. We're after the same rainbow's end, waiting round the bend, my huckleberry friend. Moon, river, and
Did I sing that?
yes, you do.
I didn't though. I was so entranced by you singing to me. Should I sing it once too?
Yes, sing it once.
Woo! It's hard to follow that. Moon river, wider than a mile, I'm crossing you in style someday. Oh, dream maker, you heartbreaker, wherever you're going, I'm going your way. Two drifters off to see the world. There's such a lot of world to see. We're after the same rainbow's end, waiting round the bend, my huckleberry friend. Moon, river, and me. It's your daddy, boy. Oh my God, I'm so I just kept going, oh, it's your daddy. It's awesome. Oh my gosh. And now you get a taste of the awesomeness of our feature. And this is why I happen to have this little bag here for our January feature. I heard him playing music. Well, he's right here. So he was playing music, and so I'm sure he's going to read poetry too. But I was like, yeah, this will be great. And so now I'm going to give it up for another great. Because a man's got his wine. Yeah, chug that wine. Come up here, my love. Give it up for Dave Getchik! Woo! How are you? I'm splendid now that you're here. What's really exciting?
Right.
Nadal and Federer and Sharapova lost in tennis.
Oh, really?
In the second round.
That's
You're like, I think you're last.
Tennis, that's where they have the little table and they go, go.
They don't have it. No, that's ping pong.
That's ping pong. Tennis is where they go,
You know, they call things a sport, and they're actually competing against one another. No, not with the hands. No, why are you being
Oh.
a pain in the butt?
is that handball?
It's something.
Okay.
It's something. Whatever.
I don't know, I've been too
Whatever the
busy.
commoners do, I don't know.
All I heard was about the Blackhawks.
Well, that was Monday night.
That was the only game in town.
Well,
Was that the Bulls, the only game?
well, it was the Chicago team in town. And isn't there another Americans dropped out today, but not that you guys care about that either. But what do you read about? What, you applauding that Israel lost? And the thing was, they're on a grass court, and I can't believe I'm talking about this, but they're on a grass court, and the main courts for Wimbledon, they don't let anybody play on them.
Wimbledon, is that?
Wimbledon's in England.
Okay.
And it's this huge thing, and the fortnight is supposed to be something really important for people who pay attention to anything.
Wimbledon is a big tennis
Wimbledon.
thing.
It's the Wimbledon courts have a huge tennis thing, yes. And they never let anybody play on the main courts. And the thing is, it just had a huge storm, and so everything was really slick. And so all of these great players are playing, and they're doing splits and falling over. And a couple people are like, I can't play, I've injured myself. And you're giving more money for the feature. This is his way of shutting me up. So please, anyway, I'll stop you at this. All right, go play, here.
I'm gonna do crosses and then I'll take a request. Want a request?
One of my own, but that probably won't work.
This is remember the crosses, because there's at least like 2 people here that haven't heard it. In the desert Southwest, they use small white crosses by the roadside to mark the spot of a tragic death, a traffic accident, or someone who died of exposure. I'm sure driver education teachers scowl and point to the side of the road saying, remember the crosses. Here in the Midwest, we are less sentimental. The holes in our guardrails are repaired nearly overnight. There's an old woman at the Cactus Bar and Grill. She inhales deeply on her schnapps. Her life is lonely and sad. She picks up her purse, slinging it over her shoulder like it was a cross of Jesus Christ himself. She walks stiff-legged to the door, and her life is so tragic that little white crosses appear everywhere she goes, following her home and springing up like needles on the floor that she paces at night. Across that sad, dry country, there is so much misery that the very earth of the desert moans, creating a resonance at every roadside, which says a signal across the rest of the nation which says, remember the crosses, making crosses appear throughout the land, like mushrooms on your lawn. Bare one day, there the next. Everywhere there's a hint of tragedy, a little white cross springs from the earth, like Arlington National Cemetery, gone mad. I look, and I find myself surrounded by a sea of many crosses, the names, dates, places, all familiar to me. Echoing in my head, there is one phrase, remember the crosses. Although I close my eyes and ears, I hear, remember the crosses. And before me, a shady and indistinct cross appears with my name and my date of birth written on it, waiting for me. I want to run away. I want to make this magical vision that allows me to see all the pain and suffering in the world fade away. You see, I've always wanted to make someplace where people could come and hang their crosses by the door, a place where sadness and tragedy cannot penetrate. But this is something that I cannot do, for I was born in the Midwest, and in the Midwest, we are less sentimental. I'll take a request.
Oh, very good. Worms.
Worms?
I can't think of anything.
Okay. You asked for worms. Okay. If you think you can't decide, have it baked or have it fried. I guess it's because you never tried to eat something with worms inside. You know you cannot tell by sight because usually it looks alright, but you wouldn't take a second bite and give your mouth an awful fright. For if you bite into a worm deep into its ectoderm, you'll find that it's not really firm and then it will begin to squirm and yuck! So make a choice and don't be late about what you want out on your plate. If you take too long to debate, you may find you are eating bait. If you should cross the swampy bogs over quicksand and fallen logs, you'll find where the mugwugs hide, the hollow trees they live inside. You better not go near their trap, for they'll close their jaws shut with a snap. But if you don't get caught at all, and you can find their treasure haul, you can steal the mugwug's treasure. You can lead a life of leisure. And with all the gold you keep, you can make a bed and fall asleep. Thanks.
It's gonna be so hard for a request for you.
You've heard me do like 8,000 poems.
Well, I might pull up, but I don't remember their titles.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
You
I'm
could've said-
terrible.
And I might have one, and I might call you up to read it. After this next poet or two, we've got Jerry. No, this isn't the Jerry that was previously up, but Jerry Reynolds. Please give it up for Jerry. Come on up.
May I please tell the people at the back end of the bar that I'm not going to use the microphone because it sounds like this.
Now you have to yell for us.
I have supported the Hawks. With all my yelling and shouting, what a great team. Give it up for them. Yay. Blah, 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 blah. I met my person in the mirror in a 5th Street bar last night. He used to sit across from me, but now is on my right. He spoke, but over my voice I just couldn't catch his name. I mimicked all of his questions, and of course he did the same. I bought a drink for each of us, and the barmaid bought to the change. When I tried to pay her what I owed, she told me I was strange. My person in the mirror just laughed, reflecting mirthfulness. We bickered and we shouted some, and then we raised our fists. Twin bouncers kept behind us and gave us each a smack. One tossed me out the front door. I would like to do a, can I do another one? Can I?
Yes, you can.
Yes!
Yes,
Okay.
you can. Yes, you can.
It's the welding poem. I'm going to take my glasses out just for a moment because I know how beautiful you are. Please presume that I have 2 little earplugs I'm stuck in my pockets like this. Okay, ready? Okay, here's what it is. Hush, little babies, don't you cry. This little song might save your eyes. Unless you want to live your lives in the dark, please don't stare at the welding spark. It may be small, it may be bright, but it's filled with ultraviolet light. The kind that makes our tan so nice and causes cancer in laboratory mice. A moment won't hurt. That's okay. But more than that, you should stay away. The light involved is so intense that some of your corpuscles might be prevented from the opportunity to see. Maybe you can't even use a microphone anymore. It's not like blindness, like Ray Charles. It is just the most important thing that anybody should ever learn. And all their poems don't rhyme, you understand? But here's the wonderful thing about not being blinded. I have a spot in this eye, which I'm pointing at. And now I can't point it anymore because of a small rodent or a dog. One of yours or somebody else's would have been passing across the road. I can't see over here. This eye. And if I close this eye, I have monocular vision. And this eye, I'm wondering why I'm pointing over there. And it is actually a four-dimensional poem I'm talking about. Never look at the welding spark. It is so pretty. I don't know how old you are, but it's like one of those episodes of the Beverly Hillbillies where you really want to pay attention to it, and when you get focused, you will have wasted so much of my time explaining it to you. Hush, little babies, don't you cry. This little song might save your eyes. If loud noises you might hear, stick one of these things in your ears. And if I ever find you without safety glasses, I am going to step up and recommend that you do, because my name is Jerry Reynolds, and I want you all to be safe.
Thank you.
Oh, I lost my
Where did, they're right there, you're all awesome.
And I see that there's a dish here.
But I'm not going to go around and harangue everyone for donations, because I've got a little bag for that. And if anybody wants to add anything more for our phenomenal feature of Dan Cleary, that's going to be after a break this evening, please come and bug me anytime. I've got one poem from Dave Getchik. Yeah, he was asking for a request, and he just ran away before I can give him the request. So he's going to do one poem before I call him my last one, Robin Fine. So come on up here, Dave. Thank you.
No, single one poema.
I don't know, how does your phone work, John?
John, your wife screwed up the phone.
No.
I should have liked it done.
There you go.
Okay,
There you go, how's it work?
that works for me.
Awesome.
Okay. Janet, who's heard me read like 8,000 poems, had a request, and the request, of course, because it's Janet, was her poem. This is called Under the Sea. I'd like to be under the sea to see the fish go swim. I like to squish a jellyfish and then let go of him. I like to grab a soft-shelled crab and take him for a walk. I'd like to hurdle over a turtle and teach dolphins to talk. I like to see a manatee and then go play by him. I like to do all these things if only I could swim. I'm Janet Kuypers.
I'm sorry, but here's this like wanting to name things. I'm like,
I don't know any of the names of his stuff, but that's something you could totally
You said
read.
that poem that has the like...
I said worms. It was the only thing I could think of, and the crosses was the first one you came up with, and I'm like, I don't know them because you say them, but they just go on, and I don't remember.
You never
the crosses.
listen to me.
I remember the poems, and I remember the crosses, but I don't remember the titles.
Okay.
This is my problem, so. I was like, this one he could read.
But
So-
then you ask me for a poem like every other time I'm here.
Well, then do the same one, then that's totally fine. And that's why I even said worms, because we're done, we do it. Well, go ahead, sure, that's fine.
I'll send you a poem next week.
You sure can. And the thing that I was planning on working on, because you have seen that I do publishing stuff, I am trying to come up with a collection book this year of poems from every feature, plus occasional open micers. Only had mini feature night for open micers, which means that if Dan Cleary has a thing from the night, he could actually send it our way. And people who actually send me the poems, they can go into a little collection book at the end of the year called The Chosen Few. So I throw that out for everyone, but now I'm going to get it up for a phenomenal final open micer. I'm so glad she came by, so please give it up for Robin Fine. And the chairs are all crammed together. It's just like, I can't get up here. There's this rows and everybody's here, and I can't. No, I totally understand. It's all cramped there.
hi everybody.
Robin!
This is essentially all new stuff.
Woo!
Okay, hold on. Give me 2 seconds.
two, actually, none of them have titles. So, something should be done about this empty canvas, about these rain cloud tears of stale resolution, about this marriage of laughter into silence. Maybe I can paint a dream, a portrait of concealed nostalgia, find the right palette for rose-colored glasses with paint that smells like effort. What if there was time to blink, time for impractical wishes to become practical thought, basking in the rhythm of its own light, its own breath. All I need is a glimpse, a whisper of smiles of ancient suns. It's been sitting my first one. Of ancient suns ready to dance, to celebrate whatever this life is supposed to be, and I wonder if anything is possible. I always knew you were not the marrying kind, that romance was a destination on a map from point A to point B, no time to stop for exploration. Only a pocket full of empty promises, a mouthful of half-truths and indifference. You hoarded your emotions on dusty shelves behind broken microchips and gigabytes of RAM. I never understood how the touch of a keyboard trumped the suppleness of flesh, or why I followed you blindly. We have become strangers till death do us part. My covers no longer fit into the rough edges you used to love to smooth. Our bellies filled with bitter aftertaste of monotony. You stored me on the shelf behind the odds and the empties. Pretend you love my meatloaf, Julia Child in 3D black and white. Pretend you love my feet. Wrap your arms around my waist before babies and breastfeeding. I am Ginger, you are Fred. We dance around the kitchen tiles to the rhythm of our bodies. Pretend we are broken, maybe just bent, fragmented circles sculpted into perfect symmetry, and I'm still intoxicated with the man I used to know. Somewhere in the twilight you are still undressing me with your mind. Can you morph me into flowers from root to stem? Water me between heart and thigh. Let me blossom into something unexpected. But we seem to play on different battlefields now. I scream in my empty voice, shredded between apocalypse and technicolor dreams. We have become this human jigsaw puzzle drenched in red. Peel away each layer of skin to smooth, unblemished perfection. Pray for the part of flesh which has no wrinkles, and I'm learning to perfect the art of female martyrdom.
And thank you to all the open micers. Give it up for all of you guys because you're so double plus awesome. I do have to say that I'm looking at my schedule here, and Robin Fine featured here on June 5th. And if you see us coming in with all our crazy-ass contraptions of cameras going on, that's because we video record every feature, and when we can, we video record every open mic as well. This means that it's going to be up as a podcast for every feature. So if you go to www.chaoticarts.org/thecafe, you can find information, because we're the Cafe Gallery, that's who we are. You can find information about the podcast, or you can even find a directory that you can actually download MP4 files directly from our server. And when we have it every week, we can't have the open micers, but since we've got 2 weeks of a break, we might use some past open micers as podcasts before our phenomenal sidekick Bob Resco features. So keep that in mind, or come by to the website any old time. Now, you've got, 5 minutes. 5, count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want you to keep Tressa insanely busy and refill everything before